Hey everyone, I wanted to do a quick follow-up video to the previous one I did about route planning. And this one I want to do a terrain check for your route. You may encounter some terrain and you want to make sure that your vehicle can get through it and that it's even passable. So the first thing you want to take into account is the seasonality. Is it the winter and there's snow and it's probably blocking these trails or paths? Is it after the winter where there's a lot of snow melt, where there still could be snow blocking the path? It could be very muddy, and the creeks or water crossings might be very high, so you might not be able to make it across. How steep is the terrain, and do you think your vehicle can make it up it? Not everybody has a 4x4, that's fine. All-wheel drive is better than two-wheel drive, but I know some people are doing these trips with two-wheel drive vehicles, which is fine, but you just need to do a little homework to make sure you can actually make it through, because you don't want to get stuck out, 20 miles in the middle of nowhere with no service, and you're just stuck. So I'm going to use an example of a water crossing and a steep ascent right in the same spot. It's actually the same spot I used in my previous video about where I couldn't actually get through because it's privately owned land. So go to Google, go to the terrain map. This gives you a nice topographical view of where you'll be going. I know my route is generally through here, and I'll find that spot real quick. Yeah, here we go. So we have a couple of creeks here, and then we have these squiggly lines, which usually indicate a steep ascent, because these switchbacks are usually the only way that you can get up an ascent this steep. Okay, so we're going to zoom in. So I know it's the dry season right now in California, so these are probably going to be bone dry. I'm not going to have to worry about crossing deep water, high flow water. And oh, look, a hot spring. Maybe I can check that out. So what we're looking at right here are these grid lines. So 2,400 feet, 2,600 feet, 3,000 feet. So we know we're starting around 2,300 feet and we're going up to 3,000 feet. So about 700 feet of ascent in a pretty short distance. You have this little scale down here, so maybe in 1,500 feet, I don't know, half a mile, you're going up 700 feet. So that's pretty steep. I wouldn't want to do this in two-wheel drive. You might be fine, but I wouldn't attempt that. So we're going to do another check, and we're going to go into the map view. And so this is cool because you can see the actual trail. You may be able to find other trails that are around. Maybe they just go out here that leads to like a campsite. But this we're also going to use to see what the actual terrain looks like in 3D. So this is a great feature. Hit that 3D button, zoom in, and you can hold down Control and kind of rotate a little bit. So you can see this is the terrain that you would be ascending as you go down this path. So you're coming up here, you're going back and forth. Now, this actually doesn't look too steep. It doesn't look too steep. You could probably do it in two-wheel drive. If you do lose traction and get stuck, you may have to back up to a flatter spot and get a little speed going. But also what you're looking at for in something like this is how sharp these turns are. Because if they're narrow and rocky and really sharp, your long bed, full-size pickup truck might not be able to make the turn. This right here, we're not getting good resolution because we're getting pretty. Oh, there we go. This looks good because it's a nice wide turn, and that means you have good space to actually complete that turn. This looks a little scary because it looks like the road is starting to wash out here a little bit. These images, this is actually from 2021, so these are pretty new images, so they're pretty reliable that the trail is still there. You can also see tire tracks, so people are using this road, or it is passable. So looking down into these creeks here, it looks like the crossing is right here. So this is probably some loose, big river stone that's probably fine to drive over. You want a little bit of clearance because it looks like it gets a little rocky here. But this does not look like a high flow creek or stream. There's probably going to be water there when I cross it, but I wouldn't expect any more than a few inches of water. Looks like there's another crossing here. This one looks like it's a little bit deeper, but peak of the dry season, this picture could have been taken in March. It's probably dry. So this is just a quick way to check the terrain that you're going to be traveling on. Once again, make sure you do your homework and have fun out there.